From the late 90s to the mid-2000s, Arsenal was a powerhouse of English football, winning 3 league titles and 4 FA Cups, winning the league and FA Cup double twice. In the second league and FA Cup double win, they went the entire season without losing a single match. Yes, they were invincible in the 2003-2004 league season. They were not just a team of raw physicality, but they were also a team of sublime technical prowess. This was evident in the way they dominated opposition teams, whether they were playing at home or away from home. It doesn't really matter whether they were in possession of the ball or not, they simply wouldn't give the opposition a moment of rest. Though many would look at Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp as the poster boys of that Arsenal team, however, the man pulling the strings from the midfield was no other than Patrick Vieira. Regarded by pundits as one of the best players ever in his position, Vieira was a complete, powerful, tenacious, and aggressive footballer with outstanding physical, athletic, and technical attributes, who was also known for his grace on the pitch when in possession of the ball. At the peak of his power, he was a footballing Death Star, a physical and a technical monstrosity, who was capable of deciding games with just one tackle or a searching pass. Yes, he was that good. Now let's take a look at how Patrick Vieira metamorphosed into one of the best midfielders the Premier League has ever seen. Patrick Vieira was born on the 23rd of June 1976 in Dakar, Senegal. His journey into the amazing world of football began in the dusty streets of Dakar, where him and his friends were playing football with makeshift materials crafted from plastic bags, clothes, or any type of materials they could find. Due to limited economic opportunities in Senegal at that time, his family had to leave Senegal in search for a better life. Arriving in France, they settled in Dreux. He was 8 years old when he left West Africa. The young Patrick Vieira started fine-tuning his footballing talent in the football fields of Dreux. At 14, he realized he could play football professionally. Even at the age of 14, he was already physically big for his age. He was physically dominant, aggressive, had a sublime touch, and a very good pace for his size. Spotting his potential, AS Cannes wasted no time and snatched him up. At Cannes, he made his professional debut at 17 in 1994. He was made captain of the team at 19. In an interview with Arsenal in 2016, while speaking of his captaincy at Cannes, the man himself said, "The manager saw me as a leader, not because the way I talked, but the way I behaved on the pitch. I always had that inside me, even when I was young. That was part of my game, and I think the reason I've been really successful is because I got this desire inside of me, this determination." Though AS Cannes may be playing in the 4th tier of French football as of today, however, at the time when Patrick Vieira was at the club, they mostly hung around the top half of the French First Division. You know that in the world of football, it is almost impossible to keep super talented football prodigies away from big club for too long, so it was the same for Patrick Vieira, as he was snapped up by AC Milan in the summer of 1995. Fabio Capello, the manager of AC Milan at the time, saw Patrick Vieira as a potential replacement for Frank Rijkaard. Signing for AC Milan was a big deal for Patrick Vieira, because at the time, AC Milan was both an Italian and a European powerhouse, winning 3 Scudettos in a row between 1991 and 1994, and they've played in 3 successive UEFA Champions League finals between 1992 and 1995, winning it in 1994. It was also an opportunity to play with and learn from fellow Frenchman Maze Desailly and the Italian Dimitri Albertini, both of whom occupied the Milan midfield at the time. You see, Patrick Vieira absolutely adored these players. However, they would prove to be the obstacle that prevented him from breaking into the first team, so much so that he would make just 5 appearances for Milan in all competition in the 1995-96 season. Even though it was a dream for Patrick Vieira to play alongside Maze Desailly and Dimitri Albertini, the France 98 World Cup was looming large, and Vieira needed to be part of the French national team, and in order to do so, he needed a lot of playing time, which he obviously wasn't getting at AC Milan, so he had to leave AC Milan. Coincidentally, Ajax was already in talks with Patrick Vieira until Arsene Wenger convinced him to join him at Arsenal, even though he knew next to nothing about Arsenal at the time. According to Patrick Vieira, he only joined Arsenal because his compatriot Arsene Wenger was going to become the manager of Arsenal, and communication would be a lot more easier since they both spoke French. Arsenal signed Patrick Vieira in 1996 for a fee of £3.5 million, which was a substantial amount in 1996. Nobody was expecting much for Patrick Vieira when he signed for Arsenal, but it became apparent in his first training session in England that this was a player of immense physical and technical potential. If there were any doubts about his potential, those immediately vanished after his first game for the club. His first game for Arsenal was against Sheffield Wednesday. Arsenal were trailing Sheffield Wednesday 1-0 courtesy of Andy Booth's 25-minute opener. Then Arsene Wenger replaced injured Ray Parlour with a young Patrick Vieira. His impact was immediate and devastating. He changed the game with his dynamism as Arsenal went on to win the game 4-1. Arsenal finished the season in 3rd place, their highest ever finish in the Premier League since winning the league before the Premier League even began in 1992, with Patrick Vieira playing 31 times, scoring 2 goals with 4 assists. The following season, Emmanuel Petit and Marc Overmars joined Arsenal from Monaco and Ajax, respectively, with Arsene Wenger converting Emmanuel Petit from left back to a midfield player, forming an unstoppable partnership with Patrick Vieira. This gave Vieira the freedom to go further off-field, while also putting in outstanding defensive shifts. Arsenal went on to win the Premier League and FA Cup with Patrick Vieira making 33 league appearances, scoring 2 goals and providing 4 assists. This would earn him a place in the French national team squad that will compete in the France 98 World Cup, though Patrick Vieira wasn't a starter in the team. However, he was a regular off the bench. He came off the bench in the final with France already leading Brazil 2-0 to assist fellow Arsenal teammate Emmanuel Petit for France's 3rd goal, securing the World Cup on home soil. 2 years later, they were playing in Euro 2000, which was co-hosted by Holland and Belgium. By this time, Vieira has already established himself as a regular in the starting lineup. They went on to clinch the trophy, beating Italy 2-1 in the final after trailing for most part of the game. Meanwhile, domestically, things wasn't all that rosy for Patrick Vieira and Arsenal. They failed to retain the Premier League title and lost out on the top spot to Manchester United for 3 consecutive seasons, as Manchester United entered a sustained period of complete dominance. In addition of all this, Patrick Vieira was getting a lot of disciplinary issues. His aggressive and competitive approach to games were landing him in a bit of hot water. One of the highest disciplinary incidents came in a game against West Ham in 1999, when he was sent off for a challenge on Paulo Di Canio. He then had a scuffle with Neil Ruddock. Vieira shoved Neil Ruddock and spat at him as he was leaving the pitch. For this, he was given a 6-match ban and fined £45,000. Between 1996 and 2004, Arsenal and Manchester United engaged in what was perhaps the fiercest rivalry in the Premier League era even to this day. They were the only 2 clubs to win the Premier League title during this period. While this was going on, Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane was having their own sort of rivalry. This was both verbal and physical. The on-field scuffle, the turn-up bus-stops, they were exciting to behold. As exciting as this rivalry was, Vieira was mostly on the losing side because in this period, Arsenal were Premier League champions on 3 occasions compared to Manchester United, who won the Premier League 9 times. In the 2001-2002 season, Arsenal won their 2nd Premier League and FA Cup double within the last 5 years. This was after coming out 2nd best to Manchester United for 3 consecutive seasons. Patrick Vieira played a vital role in achieving this, playing 36 out of the 38 league games, scoring twice and providing 2 assists. Tony Adams retired at the end of the campaign and Patrick Vieira was handed the captain's armband. In the following season, everything was going according to plan for Arsenal. They were on top of the league for the majority of the season. By the 2nd of March, they were already 8 points clear at the top of the pile. However, 3 weeks later, everything would fall apart, as Manchester United had displaced Arsenal from the top of the log, leading them by a single point. And to make matters worse, Patrick Vieira suffered a knee injury that would see him miss the last 5 games of the campaign, and Manchester United eventually won the Premier League title with a difference of 5 points. I think losing the league to Manchester United the previous season after spending most of the season on top of the pile must have triggered something in Arsenal as they went on to do the unthinkable. They went the entire season without losing a single match. They became the invincible of the 2003-2004 league season, with Patrick Vieira making it 29 league appearances with 7 goal contributions, scoring 3 times with 4 assists. The invincible, something that has never happened since then. Despite numerous speculations in the media that Vieira was going to leave Arsenal, the following season, the midfielder chose to remain in North London in hopes of finally retaining the Premier League title, something that has never happened in Vieira's 9 years at the club. However, Roman Abramovich and Jose Mourinho ensured that this was not going to happen. Furthermore, with the acquisition of Cesc Fabregas from La Masia, Arsene Wenger decided to phase out Patrick Vieira in favour of a new dynamic style of play. So Arsene Wenger sold Patrick Vieira to Juventus for £13.5 million. However, before then, Arsenal squared up against Manchester United in the 2005 FA Cup final, with the match goalless after 120 minutes of frantic football. Vieira stepped up with his last kick of the football in the colours of Arsenal. He converted the last spot kick to hand Arsenal their 10th FA Cup trophy. And just like that, his time at Highbury came to an end. Patrick Vieira would spend just 1 season in Turin, which was successful to a large extent, with Juventus winning the Scudetto and Supercoppa Italiana. Vieira played 42 times, scoring 5 goals and assisting once. However, things would soon fall apart when the Bianconeris and a few other Italian footballing giants were fingered in a highly controversial match-fixing scandal that has been ongoing for at least 2 seasons up to that point. In light of these revelations, Juventus were stripped of their league title. For the 2004-2005 season, as well as the 2005-2006 season, they were also relegated to Serie B, the second division of Italian football. Seeing that Patrick Vieira was already getting to the twilight of his career, it was only logical for him to leave, so him and others, including Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Fabio Cannavaro, Lilian Thuram, and Gianluca Zambrotta, all left the club. In the case of Vieira, he went over to Inter Milan for a fee of £6.5 million. However, by this point in his career, he was already firmly on the decline. Patrick Vieira won 3 successive Scudettos with Inter Milan. However, he never really established himself as a first-team regular. He was more or less surplus to requirements. This was even more glaring with the arrival of Jose Mourinho in 2008, so he moved to Manchester City to reunite with his former boss at Inter Milan, Roberto Mancini. At Manchester City, he picked up yet another trophy, the FA Cup. He eventually retired from football in the 2010-2011 season. Yeah, there you have it. The entire football career of Patrick Vieira. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one.